Hey Justin, how are you today? Welcome back.
I'm doing well, Dharam. I'm coming to you from Germany. It's a last minute business trip, so it was nice to get away from the usual in the Middle East and be in a different part of the world. So it's nice to have some new scenery.
So believe it or not, Justin, and next week I will be in Frankfurt, and I think we're going to have a catch up there.
Looking forward to it. No, it's funny how when the stars align. Yeah, obviously it wasn't planned, and so looking forward to seeing you soon.
Exactly. So that's why I'm very excited. So look, I'm really excited. I want to, this is kind of a big meet could happen in Germany. So thank you for being part of this podcast series and coming up with lots of thoughts and experience sharing. And I think many people are enjoying these sessions and hope more and more people can benefit out of this. So once again, thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And today's topic even more exciting. Why I'm saying more exciting because we are kind of talking about writing a letter to the future project managers, portfolio managers, program managers. So telling them the current trend and what we like to see in the future. So somebody reading or watching this webinar or podcast in future said, hey, this is what Dharam industry were talking about 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And this is exactly what's happening here. So we have a crystal ball. Based on that, we're going to talk about what we see in the future.
We'll do our best.
Yeah, look, I do have a crystal ball, and I've seen a lot, and I can see what is happening about, in the exciting project management, program management world, and lots of good things are happening. I mean, of course, we are talking based on what happened in the last many years of project management and what is happening now and what is likely to happen in future.
Absolutely.
So with no further delays, let's talk about letters to future project program portfolio managers. All right. Good. Let's talk about my first question is, what is the future of program portfolio management in 2023 and beyond? We are in 2023. So what do you see from here?
I think the profession itself, in its traditional sense, is always going to be strong. But I think as these different technologies are coming online, I think it's going to probably put even more responsibility with the PMs. I'll just preface it now saying PMs includes portfolio, program, and project. But I think it's going to add more responsibilities. It's going to require those type of leaders to truly be in touch with everything that's going on and be abreast of the new technologies that are going to be upcoming and how you're going to be able to implement those with your daily operations. And so I think the profession itself, I think, is really on the cusp of, I think, even a further breakout of truly being an even more influential leader within an organization. And so it's certainly an exciting time to be a part of it and really trying to help shape it as it continues to grow, and with all the different technologies and everything that are coming out now, and being able to really be on that, as I call it, the tip of the spear, being able to lead from the front and be able to really kind of set an example to let future generations really even take it another step further.
Yeah, and look, so based on what we have seen in past, initially when we talk about project management, it's more like functional organization. You have a little bit of project management responsibility or coordination. I think that for many years it was more like a coordinator job to coordinate among various teams and make the things happen. So the role was not seen very favorable by lots of executives and C-level. They said, okay, get a coordinator or project manager, get the things done. But as we get to maturity of the project management, we are taking more and more strategic role, becoming more and more strategically aligned projects and programs and portfolio. And that's where the big shift is happening, along with the new technology that, new way of thinking, cybersecurity, data analysis, and digital transformation, and agile transformation. All these buzzwords we're talking here are actually already making huge difference in project management, program management, portfolio management. So I think while we're talking about AI, chat GPT, all the new things, but at the same time, and people worry actually, hey, what about my job? Believe it or not, it's actually going to be even better as a project manager, for program manager, portfolio manager, because instead of running around getting the things done, people have to, you still have to do things, but a lot of things you don't have to worry about, such as writing reports and collecting data from here and there. It's all, if you have right system, things can happen automatically. And yes, you still have to look at the data and you look at the trend, and you make some analysis, what is, or maybe the decision made by the system, and your time and efforts are more spent engaging with stakeholders, working with the stakeholders, and building their confidence and the trust in you and the whole organization, and getting the things done.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And you mentioned it, big data and those type of things. I think really from as a PM, as the technology evolves, and you had mentioned AI and those things, sure, that's going to take away, let's say, some of the more administrative, burdensome type tasks maybe away from you, but you're going to be looking more at, from a strategic level, like as you kind of mentioned, the trend analysis, the looking at data and understanding what is happening and being able to interpret it properly, to then make those more informed decisions. And if the data or the trends are not going in the way that you want them, then being able to have that knowledge and the plan, looking at your risk management and all those different things, to be able to change course, to be able to again continue to be successful. And I think that's probably more where from a PM standpoint it's going to be able to go. A lot of critical thinking skills and being able to analyze things, I think, is going to be really pivotal to a successful PM in the future.
Exactly. And yes, soft skills are going to be more and more important, and some technical skills are also going to be important, knowing about what is coming, trends. So we cannot just stay in isolation, just think about project management skills. Beyond that, you have to think about, how can I work with my stakeholder? How can I work with the team, making them, empowering them to get the results which were not possible and without doing that. So you are making the difference by engaging with them.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, 100% agree.
Because I've seen most of the time project managers are worried about next milestones and reporting on the Friday morning, and getting things done. They are so much into those daily tasks. They don't have time to do all the important things, such as engaging with stakeholder and finding out the better way of innovative thinking, and get the things done better way, because we just stick to our scope and resources and time, and what we focus on that. But now we start looking beyond those three constraints. How can I make the experience of my stakeholder more exciting, more beneficial? Not just delivering product, rather than give them the experience.
Your
expectation.
Absolutely. And not only that, I think especially when we bring in the technology factor, that things are changing so quickly, I think from a PM standpoint, you're going to have so many more opportunities to from a risk standpoint to exploit it, to be able to turn it into a even larger positive, and exploiting those opportunities with new technologies. I think, again, as you had already stated, with the soft skills and being a little bit of an expert, kind of understanding, or being a jack of all trades, really having an understanding of what's coming, and how it can help you and the organization, is going to be critical to success. And being able to constantly have that mindset where there may be a piece of new technology that is going to allow you to exploit your capabilities from your company standpoint to really capitalize.
Fantastic. Thank you. So let me ask my another question. Why can't C-suite executive and the board of directors respond to changes faster in synchronization with program and portfolio management?
Well, first, I have to preface to say that I'm not in the C-suite, but I hope to be one day.
You will be. You will. Not far away.
But I really thought about this one a lot, and when you really think about the folks in the C-suite, they have a lot of things to take into account. Where as you move up in your leadership roles, the project, program, and portfolio managers are extremely important. But then you really, and when you get into the C-suite, let's say something that works in a particular program or portfolio. Um, when you get into that huge macro level from a chief executive perspective, they're constantly, before they can truly make the change, they have to really analyze how all their different lines of business are going to be affected by a specific change. And so I think they're not going to be able to respond as quickly, because they're having to look at, within a company or an organization, they may have several different customers that have different requirements. And not only that, they have to also check with the finance folks to see what the tax ramifications may be. And in each country has its own tax laws. And so understanding all of that, the different HR perspective with different, each countries have different labor laws, and understanding all of that. I know a lot of times from a PM standpoint, we don't get exposed to all of that. And really, I've had some great mentors that have made it to that chief executive office. And every time that I have an opportunity to speak with them, I'm always picking their brain about those very things, of trying to understand, like, what does your day truly look like on a normal basis? And some of our current chief executive, Carrie Smith for Parsons. I mean, you're talking about an organization that's over 16,000 people worldwide, and there's so many different lines of business. They're doing different things, commercial side, the U.S. federal side, and there's just so many different requirements. And so having to understand all those different things and all those different ramifications of one decision is quite a big task when you really think about it. And we sometimes, from a PM standpoint, I think we kind of live in our little boxes. And so being able to truly look at that perspective from a chief executive view, you really realize the enormous responsibility that those type of folks have. And really, before they make a decision like that, they need to have as much information of the facts before they can truly make that decision, because one decision could really, quite frankly, be one that hurts your stock price and hurts your overall company. And so you have to be a lot more, you have to do your homework a lot more before you can truly implement that across the board. And I would even say, even in some of my experiences, one size doesn't always fit all. And so you have to be mindful of that, because what may benefit one particular program or portfolio may be devastating to another one. And so you might have to have some, what I would call, inconsistencies to be able to fit the operations of that particular program or portfolio. So I think one of the big things of a successful chief executive is understanding that, and truly having that ability to accept that you're not going to be able to truly always have the one size fits all or the silver bullet of a solution to handle any complex problem, because it can be an absolute monumental decision for an overall company.
Exactly. So they have huge responsibility to run the company. They have to have a vision, and they have to take the company to a direction, and they have a future direction they have to think about. But and they have to make decisions. And as you correctly mentioned, a single decision can make a huge difference to the organization, the company stock price, and the way people perceive the company. So they have to be very careful when they give any decision or start a new initiative or something. What I can see, if the company is relying on, I say the older style of reporting and managing information, so they don't have right information, right time on the fingertips. if they have a good system, real-time system, where they can see the pulse of all the projects, program, portfolio management, and the whole organization, and they can press the button and they can see the beautiful report with all the reds and greens and all kind of thing. So they are in a better position to make the decision. They look at the trend, what happened over the past 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, and what will happen if I do this. So some kind of what if scenario, if the tool can help, or some kind of system that can help them to see that way. I think that the engagement from the C-level to the portfolio, program, and project will improve, and that will help to get some major initiative done by the organization with the help of project and program portfolio managers.
Absolutely, no question. I never realized it until I started, being able to spend some time with these successful folks, and really, I remember talking to one of my former CEOs, and he was telling me how it really bothered him that he didn't necessarily know the ramifications of the decision that he was about to make, but he knew that he needed to do his homework ahead of time to be able to understand, okay, if I make this particular decision, this could possibly open us up to more tax liability and those particular things, which of course can add up to huge costs and hurt the profitability of a company. And so he always said, he goes, it used to drive me crazy that I didn't know enough about it, and I would have to call one of my one of my friends to be able to make the correct decision. And so, I mean, he's one of my mentors, and certainly his humbleness and is always truly enjoyable. I can't thank him enough for that. But that's when you really realize what those folks are dealing with on a daily basis. Every decision that if a decision needs to be made at that level, that means everyone else couldn't solve it. So every decision that comes to their desk is of monumental importance. And so that's when you realize what the kind of burdens that they are put on their shoulders to be able to deliver success. So it's certainly one that you respect, and be able to you want to be able to help them, to make it easier for them. And I think a lot of times, especially some of the organizations that I've been a part of as of recent, to include my current one, is you can put a framework out there that, okay, this is a strategic alignment and everything else. So with our programs, projects, and portfolios, they're all aligned with the company, the organization's mission and vision statement. But put the framework in to make sure you're in compliance and everything. But again, where I kind of come back to, you can't make the one size fits all, but kind of almost make it an entrepreneurial approach where you let the portfolio, program, and project managers decide what is best within the framework to keep the company's alignment and success. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Loosely have of course, you have to have the specific processes in place, but also give that flexibility to be able to let the PMs adapt to number one, their customer, and the ever-changing environment. I think is a best way to do it, and certainly with the agile world that we live in, I think that's probably the best way that you really can set things up right now.
Yeah, and that's very important. Is we at the C-level, they actually can decide the vision of the organization, the future, and the strategic objectives. And these strategic objectives are clearly defined or elaborated to the portfolio managers, because they are the ones who are going to pick the work, and the portfolio manager is going to pick the program and projects. So all this, what you talked about, having the right policies, right procedures, and the steps required to do things, and alignment analysis has to be driven from the organization level and filter down to the portfolio level. So the governance structure in the portfolio level, to ensure that whatever work is agreed upon is going to be delivered by the project program managers, and the work is going to be aligned with the organization strategic objectives. Same thing with the program level, and same thing at the project level. So whatever governance structure we have at the project level, program level, portfolio level, and organization level are aligned together so that we can see things through in consistent manner.
No question.
All right, good stuff. Good discussion. Thank you. So my next question is, why do future program portfolio managers need to rely totally on professional judgment rather than their intuitions?
Yeah, well, intuition is where it's going to get you in trouble, especially even from your stakeholder engagement. And honestly, you can still rely on your intuition, but if you base decisions specifically on intuition, you're going to get burned. But if you have an intuition, make sure you're able to back it up with logic and the facts, and be able to, quite frankly, explain as to why you made the decision. If you just say, oh, it was my intuition or my gut feeling, you won't be in the business long. Especially even from a stakeholder engagement perspective, internal and external, or from the customer standpoint. Why did you make that decision? Well, I just felt like it. Well, you have to be able to back it up with sound logic, and be able to be able to execute on it. If you just go with your gut feeling, could make a bad situation even worse. And so, as one of the guys that works for me, he always hears me say, make it make sense. If it doesn't make sense, if it doesn't pass the sniff test, so to speak, as I say, then that idea is not going any further than this table. Because when you start presenting to a steering committee or directors, vice presidents, all the way up to the C-suite, it's their job to poke holes in it. And if you go up there with just an intuition, you are going to be torched. And so so anything you bring to the table has to be backed up with the facts and the logic and a reasoning why, and it has to be sound judgment. And so now I'll play devil's advocate. If you happen to have an intuition, maybe before you state that intuition, from your intention standpoint as a PM, do your research on it. Okay, this is what I feel like the trend may be. Okay, look at it. In my particular experience, I've had some gut feelings before, but I've mentioned it to certain mentors that I've had, and just say, hey, I have an idea. Does this make sense, or am I just crazy? And I always tell them, like, feel free to hammer away at me, but this is what I'm thinking. This is why I'm thinking this way. This is why I have this gut feeling. And let them poke holes in it, to see if it's worthy of bringing it up to decision makers. That's kind of how I've done it before, where sometimes I've been right with my gut feeling, but again, it's after doing the research to make sure that I'm not crazy, and or that I'm exposing the performance of the project or portfolio. So that is probably my advice on that one. But yeah, if you just go in with your gut instinct, you won't last long.
Yeah, so look, it's a very interesting thought, actually. It's a very interesting topic itself, So like, intuitions are not just random thoughts. So intuitions are happening because of your past, thinking, or past understanding of things. And the past behavior is actually telling you this is about to happen, or this is where you should get there. Sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. So, and it happened. Sometimes you don't listen to intuition, then you may rely, oh, I've listened to my gut feeling at the time. And that was a very good decision. And you should have listened to that. But as you rightly said, if you have some intuition or gut feeling or something you strongly believe in, have your rights, your friends or mentors, or your, some of the very near and dears, to share with them and see what they think about it. They may not 100% going to understand what's going on in your mind, but at least they can ask you some, as a devil's advocate, asking some question. What if, So, and also listen to that as well. And then your intuition, then that listening and risk analysis and, the planning can make the same intuition or the decision or idea maybe a big thing. Who knows? but don't let your intuition go away. Hey, maybe it's a vague idea. Somebody say you're going to be the president of America. Yeah, okay. And maybe a vague idea. Maybe that's actually the idea is coming generated from some reason behind your background or something. That's what intuition's all about. So think about it.
Yeah, no, as you were just stating those, I actually have had an intuition before, and I've brought it to a mentor of mine. And while I was somewhat right in my intuition, after discussing it with him and truly laying out the field of play, so to speak, he actually brought up some points that it made it even a bigger particular challenge than what I originally had thought. And so it's important to have those type of mentors, and I certainly have them internally that you can trust, but I like to usually utilize folks that are within our industry or you've worked with before, but they've maybe moved on to other companies, that you still have that mentorship relationship with them, because now they're in a position of independence. And so they're looking at it from a true, just independent perspective, and being able to just give you the no BS, as I call it, where, hey, if you're dead wrong, you're dead wrong, but they may tell you that you're onto something, and they may give you some food for thought that could truly expand on, like, hey, you're not crazy for thinking that, but here's the things that I would go and look for to be able to truly justify if what you're thinking is indeed fact. And I think those type of people around you, and like-minded folks that are going to give you good rationale, are certainly important to be able to be successful in this profession.
Exactly. Look, I'm a strongly believer in intuition sometimes, because when back 15 years, if you rewind back, I as a shy project manager, just asked me to do things. To what I'm doing now, it's based on thinking that I'm going to be one day, making impact to lots of people's lives, whether project management, programming, teaching, or something else. I was stopped by many thoughts around me, people around me. No, this is not you. You just focus on your work. Versus I believed in myself and continuously pursued in that direction. So yes, mentors, and you listen to everyone. I think what you're doing is saying is correct. You listen to everyone, but you feel that you have strong intuition or you strong believe in that. I think you should continue in that direction. Of course, you do all your checks and balances as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, so that's me.
Your intuition was right. You changed a lot of people's lives, or influence them heavily with what you do now.
Great. Yeah, thank you. So next question is, what will be the critical competency skills for the project program portfolio managers in the future?
So I would still say your traditional PM type skills or being organized, those things. Those general principles are not going to change. I always will believe in that framework, being able to be organized, structured, looking at things, but we've also kind of covered some of them today, is those soft skills. I think, especially with the technologies and everything, being able to truly be able to engage with your stakeholders really on a stepped up level, being able to truly not only have that traditional stakeholder relationship, but really being able to come up with different ideas because of the new emerging technologies, and be able to bring them to them and almost in a soft sell type of way. That's going to be very important in the future as things evolve. The other thing too, and I've actually just been taking a class with my MBA in big data with statistics, and understanding them, interpreting them, and being able to have that information at your fingertips. And not only that, being able to look at your what they call outliers, and truly putting together your regression analysis. All them different things are going to be very important, because you're going to continuously have these AI or any of those other type of applications where it's going to give you a lot of data to be able to interpret. You're going to have to be able to understand it. And that's not always an easy thing. And so from a PM standpoint, really being able to have some critical analysis skills is going to be extremely important. Which means then you're going to have to be continuously adapting to the new technologies that are coming out. And wasn't that long ago that we still had dial-up internet, at least when I was growing up. And now look, the thought of being able to talk to you, being connected to the internet without any wires was unheard of back in the day, and
Exactly.
here we are, so you can't forget that perspective. And now I feel like I read a new article almost every day on the challenges of AI, to where robotics almost are trying to find a way to be able to humanize themselves. And so how do you limit that to make sure that they can't harm people? And it's like, oh my goodness, talk about a technology just boom, and understanding that, which I'll be the first to tell you that I'm probably very amateurish when it comes to all that. And I know that that's something I probably need to get schooled up on, because it's not going away. It's only going to get bigger and bigger. And understanding that is going to be very critical in how you use it, which is always key. You could have all the technology in the world, but if you don't know how to use it properly, it's worthless. And so the key is certainly being able to understand what's out there, but how you can use it to benefit your organization is going to be the true keys. But again, I still go back to my traditional sense, I guess, call me an old-fashioned guy. Stakeholder engagement, having that relationship. I will firmly believe till I'm no longer on this earth, that relationships are still key to any business transaction, and being able to be successful.
Yeah, very nicely. All these skills we talked about, emotion, we talked about the stakeholder engagement and technical. What you said is, the technical skills you have as a project manager is not going to go away. You still need to ensure that you've done all the scoping, understanding of the risk issues. All these things are still required. But yes, you may have a tool or a system which can help you to do things faster. Some information can be self-generated by the system, the type of work you're doing, as you're talking about artificial intelligence, ChatGPT. So already the system can generate all the various information, but as a project manager, programmer, you still need to understand whether these, some of the information may not be, yes, the system is telling you, but may not be required, or that's not valid, because you understand more than the system what is understanding. So you still have to validate them, and you still have to, understand and put some value, your thought process into that. So, as a project manager, you still need all the project manager skills and understanding. And on top of that, emotional intelligence, because now you're working with stakeholders, what the emotions going on, why they need this product, why they're desperate to have this product so early. Data, understanding of the data knowledge, data science, and cyber security, and blockchain, IoT, all this technology we still have to learn as a project managers. And depends on your field of interest, of course. If you're in construction, you don't think from that point of view. You think from how can I do my construction job even more effectively, more efficiently, and using some technologies. Nowadays the technologies, now people talk with 3D printer. I've seen 3D printer actually building a bit, constructing a building, whole building. So maybe you can fast track the things and get the benefit for your stakeholder even better.
Yeah, being able to bring new ideas to them, which then will organically grow your portfolio, which is the best kind of business, your follow-up business. That's when you already have those existing relationships, and anytime your customer comes to you, it's because they have a challenge that they need help with, and to be their go-to for a solution is priceless.
Yeah, and you being in the new technology, like you're working on Neon City and again all those things happening. So you understand how this new technology is coming and going to influence the project management, and what other technological, or maybe the new skills project manager need to know. I think you are the best person, from the cybersecurity point of view, from the maybe construction point of view, because other day you're talking about you need to have a crane or DG machine from Caterpillar, which is not even exist at the moment. You need to have something very mega scale work.
Yeah, some of these particular projects that are going on in the region, which is an awesome privilege to be a part of. Yeah, you really have to have that mindset of, certainly you apply the principles that but you also have to have that in the back of your mind that what is not good enough, and you have to push the boundaries, because if it were easy, everybody would do it. And
Yep.
the type of applications and the projects that are being done throughout the Middle East have never been done before. And so the key to success on those particular type of projects is finding new innovations that likely haven't been invented yet, which is exciting, but yet also stressful. But
Exactly.
that's what a time and what a privilege it is to be a part of it.
Good. I mean, you're lucky in a way, but yeah, I know it's too much stress when you're thinking of what can work in this situation, especially when there's no technology available.
Yeah, and navigating the supply chains and all that fun stuff, no doubt.
And that's why critical thinking is required, design thinking required for a project manager. The technology is not there, but still need to think, and get the things done, make it possible.
Yeah, they'll always be able to find a way. I guess working with the military all those different time, all those years, has given me that mindset. Like, you can't just come to the commander and say that this is not possible. You're gonna have to have a solution. While we
Exactly.
may not be able to, you can't just say no. You can say, we can't do that. However, this is what we can do. You can't just take your ball and go home. You have to find a way, and that's what makes any particular project successful. Even myself, and I've been in projects where it's taken me to the brink, and but I always had that mentality where, quite frankly, it looked like I was dead in the water. But I went back to those times where, in my college football days or whatever, and I always would tell myself, you're never out of the game. You're never out. You never give up. And so, you get back in there and you find a way. And a lot of times, one of my favorite quotes was actually Thomas Jefferson said, the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. And it's so true. Even when, I know one of the big things when you take either your PMP test or PfMP, it doesn't matter, whatever PMI test is, there's going to be a time in the test where you're going, and they do it, I think, quite frankly, on purpose, where there's going to be some hard questions, and it's going to knock your confidence down, real hard, to where you're like, oh my God, I'm going to fail this thing. And you can't let that doubt creep in, and you just have to keep pushing, because sooner or later you're going to get back to some easier questions, and you have to just break through it and just keep going. And so that you take that same mentality in what you do, and that's what's going to make you successful.
Exactly. And I can relate to what I was saying very easily. So look, so this is all the competency we're talking here, very important. And the good that we are getting the real life experiences, both from you and from the discussion. Thank you. All right. My next question is, can program project portfolio manager cope with the jobs vicissitudes as the futures is filled of disruption and digital-ness?
Well, that's the beauty of a project manager. No matter what time and technology that exists, your job is to deal with those challenges. That is the key to the profession. I think it's fair to say, I don't know about you, Dharam, but I've never been part of a project that has gone completely as planned. there's there's always something that that you're having to deal with a challenge, and how you respond to that is what makes you successful as a PM. And so, you know, of course, today's world, there's a lot of opportunities, but certainly there's a lot of challenges in our post-COVID world that we live in, with the supply chains and different environmental factors throughout the world. But you have to embrace it. I think as a PM, if you don't embrace it, you need to get out of the get out of the profession anyway, because it'll drive you into the ground, quite frankly. But there's nothing better. I always tell some of the younger PMs that I work with, my favorite time within a project is when we're probably about 2 months out from finishing it, and really you start to see things come to life. And there's no greater feeling of that completion, and you're able to sit with your team and just look back. I'll never forget the first project that we had done in a very tough part of the world. It had never been done before. It was a new customer that had cultural differences. They didn't necessarily want us there, but they knew they needed it. It was a challenge of epic proportions. And I remember telling one of the guys I consider a close friend even to this day, you know, just know that someday, I don't know when, it's probably not going to be for a while, just know someday we're going to sit in the backyard, you know, with a barbecue and likely an adult beverage, and we're going to laugh about these times. It may not be very soon, but there's going to be a day where we're going to be able to sit back and laugh about it and talk about it. And sure enough, about 2 years later, we sat in that backyard, and being able to laugh about it and turned those very hard times into some of our company's greatest successes. And not only that, it built that rapport with your team to where, you know, almost like you're battle tested, to where you feel as a team, once you get that team back together to be able to tackle a new challenge, everybody's got that confidence, like we're going to find a way. And once you've built that team to be able to, that's been battle tested before, there's just a supreme confidence, and everybody's on the top of their game and being able to be innovative. There's even times where I'll show up on site where they go, hey, we weren't able to do it this particular way according to the plan, but we did this. And I literally would be like, well, that's even better than what we planned. Well, they go, yeah, that's what we thought too. You know, those different things, and having, you know, given those type of the team that kind of empowerment, you know, then you're really, your job as a PM, you can really focus on that customer engagement and the stakeholder management, and that's when it really gets fun. But you know, it's not easy, but once you're able to really hit your stride as a leader and a PM, that's when you really you wait for the next challenge. You're going, you can say with confidence, you can put my team and I anywhere and we'll find a way, you know. And that's when it becomes really fun.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you brought some of the important points. When you're starting a project, everything looks so more, you know, so big, and you know, so many problems can be coming in between, and you may get depressed, or you know, fed up of doing things, and it's not working the way you wanted. But when you look back, you know, when project finished, look back, hey, you know, we did it, and there were some problems, we managed it, and we did it. So look, you know, life is not scripted. First of all, you know, we may have all the plans in the world, and very rarely you see that the plan, you go as per the plan. So there's some internal factor, external factor, they happens, and you need to be ready for those things. So that's where the life is. As a project manager, your life is, you know, you're going through, navigating through this, all the complex environment, you know, different type of stakeholders you have, and different situations where, you know, supply chain, talked about supply chain problem going on, and many other, like COVID, we just came out of COVID. So we never planned for this, that how we going to handle the COVID. But it's, you know, we look back, hey, there was a time when everybody with the mask, and you know, six weeks gap, and you know, not flights are all empty, and this and that. Now we look back, hey, we passed the time. So one thing is, as a professional project program portfolio manager, you need to stay confident in the worst situation. If you lose your confidence, think about your team member. You're a leader of the whole team. They are relying on trusting you. So as a leader, you need to keep having the vision, the end goal in your mind, and you take the team with you to the direction. And that's where the team follows you and they trust you. That's why it happens. And one thing you ask,
go ahead.
Yeah. So now I was about to say, you ask, Dharam, were you involved in any project where you think everything goes well? Actually, I'm proud to say, yes, I was involved in one of the major projects. This is for the bank, and this is for anti-money laundering, AML. The whole bank has to change, and only few fields to be changed, but there are 13, 14 teams within the bank. They have to contribute to this whole thing. They have to change in the areas. And I'm dealing with a team which is going to be soon replaced by a outsourced company. So they are losing. Many of them are about to lose the job as well, and a lot of uncertainty for them. Still, when we're going live, actually I was looking after one project for one bank, and that's my counterpart, another project manager, actually, you're looking after the other part of the bank, because there are two different banks. They got merged as well. So I'm looking one bank, you're looking at the bank. So he was sitting in a big war room with probably 40 to 50 people in the room, with even the head of department. Everybody was there, and they were fighting, they're talking, all things going on, solving the problem. And I'm sitting just outside the room, myself. My internet open, I have my plan open, I'm calling people one by one. Everything was going so smoothly. And believe it or not a single problem happened, all gone live, perfectly okay, as a dream project. And I'm not joking, it just actually happened. And why I was successful compared to other project managers, you may say that technologically this difficulties and other thing. All this, very much similar. But what I was doing was I was engaging with my stakeholders, the people going to do job for me. I'm working with them. I'm understanding their situation or the complexity they are dealing or going to deal, and I'm working out one step ahead for them. If this happens, let's do this. You escalate me, talk to me, call me, and of course they have to make the change and everything. But everything went so smoothly, so perfectly. And when I look back, actually, that's like a dream. Things happen so smoothly.
You had yourself a unicorn there, my friend.
I know. But you can always say my project was, not big enough or complex enough. No, it was complex with 15 different teams.
Yeah, you have, as a PM, you have to expect the unexpected. I think exactly. That's the mindset to go into. If you happen to get a Dharam project like he just explained, man, that I really would love to experience that one. But hey, that's the nature of the game. But the PM side of things, that's really where you really are able to add that value to be able to solve those complex things. And you had mentioned it earlier, and it's funny you mentioned it, because I just was given some mentorship to a young PM just as of this morning, especially when you're faced with those challenges and you're the leader of the team. And when the team comes to you and being able, and they're certainly panicked, maybe you're under a tight timeline and they're not sure that you're going to make it, or any of those type of challenges, while you may be panicked, you can't show that. You have to show that stoic. You ask the questions to those particular folks and find a way to solve the challenge. If you need to get creative and find maybe some additional resources or any of those particular things, you cannot show panic, because then your team will respond accordingly. When you show that confidence, that cool and collected, that's going to make a big difference. And just continuously tell your team that it's okay. I will take care of this challenge. We're going to overcome, and keep keep their confidence going. That's a very big key from a leadership perspective as a PM.
Perfect. Great stuff. Thank you. Very nicely presented. So my next question is, why do organizations need to emphasize training and development for future program, project, portfolio management to provide the breadth of insight, balance, and an endless supply of intelligence and creative fuel for successful outcome?
Yeah, I actually am truly a living reason as to what I did last year and continuing this year. I thought that I was pretty good at what I did, which I was, but after being able to make the run last year of PMP, ACP, RMP, PgMP, and PfMP, I was able to look at things from a whole different perspective, even from the same projects that I was managing before, and just looking at it from an entirely different viewpoint, being able to, it gave me further critical thinking skills and being able to analyze things that I didn't even know about beforehand. And so have to have that mentality of being a lifelong learner. And what, quite frankly, what I enjoyed having, again, keeping that mindset is, I told you many times, Dharam, when we were going through our mentoring sessions, where I would learn something from that particular chapter, whether it was PgMP or PfMP, and literally the next day I'm able to take that to my particular project and literally see some of the results right away. That's when you truly realize, yeah, I'm not as good as I thought I was. And so now, even with my MBA, I'm learning things that, again, I kind of thought I didn't necessarily need at one time before last year. And now I'm being armed with further skills that I didn't have before, and looking at things again from a different perspective. I'm truly, obviously, more in the business realm of things and understanding that, but from a company standpoint, if they don't invest in your people, you're not going to get the results that you need and desire, number one. And you're not going to be able to retain them, because it's such a competitive global market now. And so I think even one person, or I saw a post on LinkedIn not long ago that it was like the setting was in a boardroom, and it's going to cost so much for us to put this, put all this into training for our people. And one particular person in the boardroom said, well, how much is it going to cost if you don't invest in those people? So
exactly.
It's definitely depends on your perspective, but in this hyper competitive market that we're in now, it's important to keep learning. I'll give you a prime example. Again, I know I've stated it many times in our podcast before, but I've truly been blessed with some pretty incredible mentors, and one of them, he is a retired 2-star Air Force general. So obviously extremely successful, which of course he would have his MBA and all those different things with when it comes to being a general officer. So to become a general you're at the top of the pyramid. And then he has been a senior leader, senior vice president for our company for many years. And he recently got his PhD. And I'm just sitting there going, wow. I'm just sitting there going, Justin, what's your excuse? Here's a man that's literally done it all, and he's still going and getting a PhD. And when I asked him, I said, well, what exactly is it why did you pursue the PhD? And he goes, well, Justin, he goes, I'm in that time of my career now. Certainly I could retire, but he goes, I wanted to be the very best that I could possibly be to advise and mentor upcoming individuals. And that's really what he's into. Certainly he's a strategic account leader as a senior vice president, but I mean, to not only to achieve what he has, and then, I'm going to go put a PhD, behind my name too is truly incredible. So when I see folks like that and being able to be surrounded by accomplished individuals like that, it truly just it brings out the competitor in you, and you have to truly look yourself in the mirror and go, all right, what's your excuse? If this man's still getting after it after he's accomplished so much, you have no excuse. And
Exactly.
that's how lucky and fortunate I am.
Look, it's very inspiring. They talked about this person, gentleman, general and army chief or something. So look, knowledge is, what we know is not enough. I can tell you. Even though you've done all the PhD and everything, and now you've done so many books, we know only the sand, one particle of sand in the whole ocean. That's what we know.
Yep.
And if you believe that you know everything and you know how to do the job, I think you're fooling yourself. So you need to know, what else can I do? What else can I learn to make my job even better, or to give my team a better leader than what I am at the moment. So knowing that, that will make yourself, more ready to learn. So first of all, age does not matter. Whether you are a 20-year-old guy, young guy, or you're 40-year-old, you're 70-year-old. I have seen in my class, believe it or not, 77-year-old guy from Singapore. He was in Singapore. He was not he said, I'm not interested in any certificate, but I want to join your program because I want to learn. He said, at your age, look, age is just a number. I know I'm 77. I'm still working. I'm working as a consultant. I'm supporting a lot of organizations, but I still want to learn the better way of doing things. So these training or certification or MBA or all what we're talking are there for you to become a better person for future. And you do your job better. That's what it's all about. And when I talk to a lot of people, actually, when I actually give your example, Justin, because last year, even though you're extremely, extremely busy, you get to do 5 certificates: PMP, ACP, RMP, PgMP, and PfMP, and then got yourself into the MBA program is inspiration itself. And you're not a person who has nothing else to do. You are one of the most busy person traveling around the world. Anytime when I'm talking, you're sitting in Frankfurt at the moment. You will be next day. You will be in Qatar, Doha, and then you're talking from Saudi Arabia. You're so busy traveling all the time. But it's irrespective of all this thing, you are focused. You know what to do and where to get yourself. Not just for getting there, but to learn and learn and know things, know the better way of doing things. That's what it is all about. Whether it's about you as a person, as about your team, and an organization need to see. And as you correctly mentioned, one of the example in the board meeting, somebody say, how much this will cost to train all these people? Another person say, how much it will cost if you don't train them? You need to see that as well, because most people get worried. Hey, if I spend $2 million on teaching provide training to my staff, it's a big amount. It's a valid question. How much we're going to lose if you don't train them? Maybe that's a $10 billion. Because if you're having the untrained or uneducated, I'm saying uneducated because it's not just a term, don't say they're uneducated, not competent enough workers in the organization. They do the job, but you can get some efficiency from them. That's what it's all about. Training is not just for making them to learn, get a PgMP certificate, PMP certificate, and then they feel proud of that. No, it's not about that. Doing the certificate makes them a better person, makes them a more knowledgeable person, more they can see things which are not available to them when you didn't have the certificate. You mentioned your confidence level going up. Even though you have been doing a great job, but after doing the 5 certificate, you look things differently. That's what the training knowledge all about. Your perspective change with this knowledge and certification and training.
Yeah, absolutely. And it boils down to just being the absolute best version of yourself. But also to understand that there's mutual benefits, certainly from an individual standpoint, getting whether it be certifications or whatever continuing education. Certainly it's going to add additional skills to your resume personally, but also too, from a company standpoint, having those particular certifications helps those companies when they're competing for new work. And so there's mutual benefits to those type of things. So it helps the employee and the employer. So definitely after when I finally got it clicked last year and really focused and got after it with those certifications and now continuing with the MBA. And I've already started to make a list of things after I'm done with the MBA that I'll be continuing on with different KPI certifications and all these different things. And of course, I'm again blessed to be in the Middle East, where there's so many incredible things happening, and seeing some of these particular individuals that have, you name it, PMI certifications, but also these other certifications that I've never even heard of before. But when I start looking at them and doing the research, going, wow, that would be a fantastic one to get into. So I start writing things down where I didn't even know they existed, that I know that'll help me along my journey as well. So definitely keep your eye open. And yeah, it's what a time.
Actually, what you mentioned is, I mean, I think the thing is that more you know, more you realize that you don't know. There are a lot of things you don't know. And as you take one step further, you learn something. Hey, this opens up more knowledge, then you get to next level. That's becoming, hey, I can see things differently altogether.
Yeah, and even it's more probably a simpler level way of looking at it, but yeah, I think the PMI KSA chapter in Saudi Arabia, I think it has the most PfMP and PgMP members in the world. It's like the largest concentration, something like that. And so going to a meeting there, you almost don't even feel adequate without a PgMP or a PfMP. And so, one of those motivating factors for me, among many, was I want to be one of them, that when I can walk in the room and say that I have what they have. It's that's where that competitiveness comes in, and then it's just going to add value for you anyway. But even recently in February, a particular individual that I had met at a trade show, he actually had his PgMP, but when he saw my business card, he goes, "You're the first one I've ever met. I've known about the PfMP, but I've never met anyone that had it." I said, "Well, I actually, I never knew that it existed either until I met Dharam, but now I know a lot of them." But and I think he's actually he's getting mentorship from you. But it's incredible once you start opening those different doors. You get exposed to new worlds that you didn't know existed. So and you never know what particular opportunities may come of because you've continued to boost your education.
Yeah, good. Thank you. And thank you. I mean, while you're speaking, I think I'm feeling more emotional and more emotionally connected to what you're talking about. A lot of things, the way you contributed, the way I contributed, we don't realize that much. But when somebody says, "Hey, somebody get inspired because of you." Thank you. All right, let me continue asking my question. The next question is, shared innovation is the key element in successful long-term client global relationship management in the future. Do you agree with the statement? Can you share your view?
Yeah, you have to continuously innovate, and I think we've covered a lot of it with having that mindset, of course, going with the principles of what of course, but having that mindset of what is not good enough, and continuously making sure that you're at the top of your game. I kind of equate it as again, I go back to my football days, where your preparation is, in the off season, when you're training and getting ready for the next particular season, you have to have that mindset of your competitor. Did you work harder than your competitor today? And if you didn't, then you lost. And so having that mindset of just continuously being the best that you can, and finding new ways to do things faster and without sacrificing quality is going to be a true key to success. I think, you know, continuously having that mindset.
Yeah. So that's very important, that shared innovation is, you know, that's where the long term, that's where the organization works with you, and we get to get the things done better. Yeah. All right. My next question is, our future proof projects program portfolio a reality, or we as a portfolio program project manager living a unrealistic expectation?
Well, future proof depends on how you want to define it, but you know, overall, I don't think you, especially with technology now, I don't think it's possible to future proof things you know, in entirety. Now, what I would say is making sure that you're providing your customers, or even, you know, internally, with the most open platform, the most compatible platforms, to be able to minimize the effort to upgrade, because that's just the reality we live in. And so I know in particular in some of the industry that I've been a part of, where the particular systems that we're using are so closed, they're only compatible with certain things, and so getting them upgraded to the latest and greatest is extremely hard now, and it's extremely expensive. So doing the best for your customer, being able to you're not going to be able to future proof it, but you're going to have to be able to provide a solution that's going to be the most adaptable, I think, and to allow them the flexibility in the future to, you know, really be able to just be able to step things along as much as possible without these huge investments. Certainly, I think most companies know that they're going to have to make investments, but making sure that you have all of the facts, understand the trends, and again, going back to customer engagement, when you have those great strategic relationships, being able to understand, okay, when you're doing a needs assessment with those particular individuals, understanding, okay, what's your 3 to 5 year target, okay, and then what's maybe your 10-year target. Now, likely your 5-year is probably your how do I want to say it, the furthest you can go out right now based on the technology that's available. But being able to set them up for that next level when those technologies come out in the 5-year time frame, I think is important. Otherwise, I don't think you're doing your customers the due diligence, and it is going to take a lot of homework to understand where they want to be, how they want to get there, and defining their roadmap and having an understanding to help them get there. I think is truly important, is probably the best way that you can quote unquote future proof it, knowing that things are likely going to come out that you didn't know that were going to come out, or new things were invented. But I think that's the best way that you can at least set your customers up for success for the future, and making sure that they have the most open platforms to make sure that upgrading is not so painful.
Yeah, no, that's rightly said. You know, we cannot exactly see things what's coming, but at least we can anticipate based on the trends we're seeing in the market, the technological change and project management change, and based on that, yes, we can, as a part of the risk management, we can see what's coming, and are we ready for that? And if not, what else we can do to learn those technologies, to be part of that technology, and be ready for those changes coming. That's what we can do as a project manager.
Yeah, believe it or not, there's even some customers out there in some of the industries that we're a part of that have Windows XP still running. So there you go. That's definitely a challenge, but again, if it were easy to make a solution, then it would have been done already. And so that's why those customers come to you, to be able to solve their complex problems.
Exactly. Look, I mean, I'm very excited. This letter to the future project program portfolio managers discussion at this time in this podcast are very, very useful, very, very important. And some of the current future project managers and they can benefit from this. And people looking back, they can also see, hey, when they were recording in 2023, they already talked about this and it's already happening. And I'm glad I learned and listened to some of the advices given by Justin and Dharam, and I was future proof in a way. And I'm more ready than other people.
That's the mindset you have to have, being open and flexible, no doubt.
Exactly. So look, as a project manager, program manager, and portfolio manager, we talked about importance of having training, right training, and you look at the trends, what can make change to you now or in future, and take the journey. And just like Justin last year, 5 certificate, and he's looking back, laughing now. But it was not. I'm sure it was not easy when he was doing this. But when you look back, hey, that was 5 certificate. I did it.
Well, and the key is when you look back at it, you're like, oh wow, yeah, that was a lot. But when I kind of, again, I go back to my football days. Take it one day at a time. If you sit and think about, oh my gosh, 5 certificates, that's crazy, that's nuts. Just take it one day at a time. Win the day, exactly, as they always say. And when you start building, win after win each day, all of a sudden you come up for a drink of water, a month down the road, and you're going, oh my gosh, look what I've done. And that's how you have to take it. Otherwise, if you think about all of it at once, it's overwhelming and you're like, oh, that's impossible. No, it is possible. You just have to, day by day, win the day.
Yeah. So that's why I say something like, how do you eat this big pie or cake? A bite by bite.
That's right.
Bite every day. So learn every day, grow every day, and you're going to enjoy your future, which is already here. So be part of the future.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you, Justin, for taking out this important time or discussion time. Even you're busy and you're traveling all the time, and I'm very happy about honored to be having you in my podcast, and talking or listening from you itself is very humbling experience. And
it's always an honor, Dharam.
Yeah, I'm sure people watching have learned a lot from this, and I'd love to see your comment, guys. Please put something and let us know, what do you think about future of project management, program management? So let's listen to that. So with this, I'd like to conclude and want to thank you once again, Justin, and I'm going to see you next week. Hey, next week in Frankfurt. Good. Nobody planned that, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
The stars have aligned.
Stars are aligned. So there's something big is going to happen, guys. So if you waiting for that, that next Friday when I meet with Justin, hopefully I will also have Thomas Valente, another podcast partner, and my third podcast partner, Reinhard. And it's on nothing planned. And I'm looking forward to that day when all four of us meet. Exciting. Who knows what is happening? Anyway. So look, see you, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye.
We'll see you in Deutschland soon.